In order for you to have successful developer platform, especially in the cloud native paradigm, I think the most, I don't know, the biggest shift in thinking for teams should be you need to move away from a technology oriented North Star or a mindset, backlogs that are technology oriented, and then you want to switch over to an end user focus that people often refer to as an actual customer journey. Hey, what is the actual customer experience? The different parts of experience, going through an actual workflow or interacting with your platform, if you will. I recommend that you also identify what the total addressable market is within the organization. Maybe for some teams it's 50, for others it's thousands of engineers across hundreds of product teams, which are sitting in different time zones with different local cultures and subcultures. The basic idea is you want to capture some initial customer profiles, and you also want to size each cohort as a part of that exercise. As you get to actually get into customer empathy sessions, you want to capture what are the current pain points, what are the problem statements, user stories that could actually add meaningful impact and value to the actual software development lifecycle of a given product team. I recommend that, and I don't necessarily see that called out as frequently, but I do recommend that as you kind of going through these conversations to leverage second order thinking. Hey, if this were true, meaning if this magically were different, then what happens? What does this enable for you? You basically want to jump to hey, you're trying to explore if this is an actual real need or if this is just something that could potentially be a I don't know, transitional or transactional kind of pain points that may or may not necessarily have as much value at scale, if you will. Obviously, you want to focus on getting a buy-in at the senior leadership level. There are different ways that you can do that, but you also want to appeal to your technical and non-technical stakeholders and the actual practitioners. You want to make sure that you're positioning your message to that is relatively similar in terms of core and essence, but you also want to project it and reframe it slightly different because each one of these different types of audiences will need to consume it in a different fashion so it resonates with them. So make sure that your message is kind of appropriate for the right audience. As you're kind of going through this experience, obviously you want to pilot, you want to identify teams for early pilots. Those are going to be your early adopters that quickly allow you to confirm your hypothesis around MVPs, anything that could potentially be durable or a misstep or doesn't necessarily add value. It allows you to iterate quickly, pretty much similar, to how you would be doing a normal, a software application development. Don't be shy about failing fast in any of this. It's unlikely that you're going to time the internal quote unquote marketplace. We will be either right on time. You may be a little bit early, you might be a little bit late. Over time, that is going to kind of course correct on its own. So don't feel like you have to hit it precisely. It's unlikely that it happens at the very beginning. Once you're successful with maybe 1 to 5 kind of pilot teams, then you can start scaling the pattern. So basically for traditional 0 to 1 going to market playbook, then 1 to 10, and then after that you can scale it from 10 to 100 and then thousands if you like. It's also important as you're kind of going through this journey that you're tracking success metrics. Some of these are adoption rates for the platform, actual NPS. Some of them are also key customer outcomes. Cost could be one of them. It could be a number of incidents. It could be how fast you're deploying and being able to roll back codes during an actual incident. It could be you optimizing for a particular SLA or SLI that has been identified from both technical and non-technical stakeholders. So that part of the key customer outcomes, you might be able to sort of tweak and adjust to what the actual organizational needs are, if you will. Sometimes it could even allow you to deliver a very powerful message that says, hey, VP of engineering or CTO, by teams using the platform, they could deliver value a lot more quickly. So we can deliver on 2 extra strategic initiatives in the next calendar year with the same team size in terms of headcount. So that is extremely powerful, and you can enable additional strategic initiatives without necessarily requiring headcount. And obviously, as you kind of doing all of this by optimizing for the developer experience, your time to value, quality and reliability, innovation, you're indirectly improving the overall customer experience. And I think that's kind of a very important part of the value messaging that platform teams should be kind of sharing across the enterprise. In addition, cost efficiency directly increases the impact on the organization's P&L or profitability goals. Right now, we kind of see what the macro is, and everybody's trying to kind of achieve to durable, scalable profitability. So I think those are kind of like, uh, I would say like, the best practices that I would consider.